The Douglas TBD Devastator is often remembered only for its tragic role at the Battle of Midway, where it suffered devastating losses. Because of this, many people dismiss it as a slow, outdated, and clumsy relic of the past. But this view is unfair. When it was introduced, the TBD was a groundbreaking aircraft and one of the most advanced torpedo bombers in the world. It was the first all-metal, low-wing monoplane to serve with the US Navy, replacing the fabric-covered biplanes that had dominated carrier decks for years. Its semi-monocoque fuselage and metal wings were supported by internal spars rather than external struts or wires, giving it a sleek, modern look. Measuring 35 feet long with a 50-foot wingspan and weighing over 5,700 pounds empty, it was much larger and more aerodynamic than older aircraft like the British Fairey Swordfish. Thanks to its streamlined design and flush riveting, the Devastator could cruise 20 to 25 miles per hour faster than its fabric-covered counterparts. Its all-metal construction not only reduced drag but also made it more durable for the constant stress of carrier operations. The use of alclad aluminum, a corrosion-resistant alloy, protected the aircraft from saltwater damage, while its modular wing design allowed quick repairs, reducing downtime. In many ways, the TBD was on par with Japan's Nakajima B5N Kate, which also used a modern, all-metal design. However, the Devastator also introduced new challenges, like the Navy's first encounters with metal fatigue, an issue not seen in older fabric-covered planes. Far from being obsolete, the TBD represented a major leap forward in carrier-based aviation and paved the way for the next generation of aircraft. One of its most important innovations was the inclusion of self-sealing fuel tanks. This was a revolutionary safety feature in 1937, making the TBD the only frontline torpedo bomber at the time with such protection. Neither the Japanese Kate nor the British Swordfish had this feature, making them far more vulnerable to gunfire. The rubber lining of the TBD's tanks automatically swelled to seal bullet holes, often allowing the crew to return safely even after being hit. Although this added weight and slightly reduced range compared to the Kate, US engineers considered crew survival more important than speed. This gave TBD pilots and crews a psychological boost, knowing they had a better chance of surviving low-level torpedo attacks. Another leap forward was the Devastator's fully enclosed cockpit for all three crew members, a major departure from the open cockpits of the 1930s. This provided protection from wind, cold, and salt spray, improving endurance on long missions. The enclosed greenhouse canopy also improved communication by reducing wind noise and allowing the pilot, navigator, and gunner to coordinate more effectively. The TBD also pioneered hydraulically powered folding wings, which allowed a single pilot to fold them from inside the cockpit in less than a minute. Competing aircraft like the Kate and Swordfish relied on manual folding, requiring several deck crew members to unlock and move the wings into position. The hydraulic system saved time, improved safety, and reduced the physical burden on deck crews, an advantage that later US carrier planes like the TBF Avenger adopted and perfected. Despite all of these innovations, the Devastator is remembered mainly for its disastrous performance at Midway. But its failure was not due to outdated technology. Poor planning sent the TBD squadrons into battle without fighter escort and out of coordination with dive bombers, leaving them easy prey for Japanese Zero fighters and anti-aircraft guns. Even faster and more modern torpedo bombers would have been destroyed under those same conditions. The attack failed to score hits, partly because of unreliable Mark 13 torpedoes that often ran too deep or failed to explode. Yet the sacrifice of the Devastator squadrons was not in vain. Their attack forced the Japanese Combat Air Patrol to low altitude, opening the door for American dive bombers to strike unopposed and sink 4 Japanese carriers, turning the tide of the Pacific War. Later battles, like Santa Cruz, proved that even newer aircraft like the TBF Avenger suffered heavy losses when launched without proper coordination. The problem was not the aircraft, but the inherent vulnerability of torpedo attack tactics against fast fighters and well-defended ships. The true legacy of the Douglas TBD Devastator is not failure, but innovation. It marked the transition from the fragile, open cockpit biplanes of the interwar period to the modern, metal-clad, enclosed aircraft of World War II. Its sacrifice at Midway played a crucial role in one of the most decisive victories in naval history.